know, like the raven is a crow, and the Bible is just books put together with a hook. And what seems to be the end comes smiling like a friend, like the lawyer's polished shoes designed to give bad news. But still we are mistaken when we plan to pass the tea. For God has not forsaken man if she has made a baby step of faith. A baby step of faith. A baby step of faith.
You're listening to The Broader View on the Hazy Radio Network. You can participate by calling 651-447-6309. That's 651-447-6309. Now, back to Hazy.
And welcome back to The Broader View with Hazy and Wanda C. And unfortunately, we had to let Jill go because she doesn't have a voice. Poor thing. She's never canceled on a radio show. Never. So again, we are going to reschedule her for Tuesday, the 8th of April at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be a full 2 hours with Jill Dane. So it's going to be a special event for us here on the Hazy Radio Network, and she will take full calls that time. But a good friend of mine jumped in and is going to help us out. And this is another gentleman that I adore, and I have not had to talk to him for a while because he's been kind of underground, but he is the author of Prophecies of a Divine Answer. We've got Homey. How are you, darling?
Hello, Homey.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are ya?
I'm doing good. How are you two ladies doing?
We're doing very well. It's spring is in the air. It's
Yes.
20.
It may not be in the yard yet, but it's in the air.
It's in the air. Well, it's 20 degrees here, and we're supposed to hit 60 on Sunday, so we're on the upswing now.
Oh, wow. A heat wave.
I know. Well, to us, 25 is a heat wave. You know, we've been.
Oh, we know that. I know Minnesota. Yeah, you run around in t-shirts when it gets 35.
Absolutely, t-shirts, flip flops, and shorts. I don't care if we have snow or not. You know.
I was doing that when it snowed here.
You always have it flip flops. So, Homey.
It doesn't snow that much in Georgia, so it's like, you know.
This year we had a snowstorm, which was like 3 inches, and we had an ice storm as well.
Yeah, that 3 inches of snow put everybody that were on the roads. They put them off. They couldn't drive on that stuff.
Exactly.
I know they closed down everything with 3 inches. Isn't that just?
You can't do that in Minnesota.
No. But we had this really rare, odd snowburst this afternoon, and there was a 60-car pileup up on one of our northern highways.
Wow.
Yeah, it was this odd, weird, all of a sudden you couldn't see in front of you snowburst, and it went on for, I don't know, about 20 minutes, a half hour, and of course it was right over my lunch hour, and I left for lunch. This is how quick it was. When I left for lunch, the sun was shining. I go about 8 minutes away to this. I had to go to the store, so I had to go to the store. I left the store, and by the time I got back in my car, you couldn't see what was in front of you. That's how quick this burst was. Just bizarre. And then this went on for about a half hour, and then it was done, and the sun was out. So welcome to spring in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But anyway, Homey, we got to tell people who you are and what you do and where you're from and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Your accent tells me you're from, like, Louisiana or something.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, originally from New York.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah, how you doing, huh?
How you doing? But you've written.
I'll make you a deal you can't refuse.
You keep doing that, and one day I'm going to take you up on it. But as a young child, you experienced some visualizations and angels and spirits and guides, and you have a psychic ability, and now you've gone into writing a book that's been out for a while, Prophecies of the Divine Answer, the Book of Code. How did all of this come about? Because it really is a fascinating book. I love the book. I have to go back and read it, actually.
Well, I had, I write about my life in it along with certain prophecies and stuff like that. It's all one continuous story. There's no chapters in that book.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to wrap up finishing off the second version because that'll have chapters and everything. So other people will carry it in their bookstores.
Yeah.
So they tend to see correct grammar.
Why? No other book does that.
And so, with growing up, in a world of my own, so to speak, because I didn't know anybody who had that kind of ability. I didn't even know it was called psychic ability or clairvoyancy.
Right.
I sort of kept it to myself and played around with it, had fun with it. And to some degree, it got to the point where people would start to say around me, "Are you psychic?" And I'm like saying, "What the hell? What is that?"
Yeah.
And I did get to see something where I lived in my hometown. I saw a palm reader on the boardwalk, and I went in there and I came out, but it was like that was my first brush with somebody being able to tell the future other than me.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, I know that what she was telling me, not all was going to come true, which was, it turned out that way. I have my own history on that. I don't discuss that. But, it turned out later on in life, I did meet up with another psychic, somebody that was close to my ex-wife. I said, "You need to go see this person. She's a very good person that could tell you the future." I said, "Oh, really? Let me go." So, but after that, I never really touched with the clairvoyancy or anything like that until, 1984, when I saw a movie on TV on HBO about Nostradamus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like saying, wow. I was a minister for a little while, or did door-to-door servicing of telling the future what could happen according to the Bible.
Right.
So, the Holy Bible, we'll have to say, because the Bible could be anything. So,
yeah. Trust me. It can be anything you want it to be.
That's right. A Bible on anything. A Bible on how to ride a bicycle, all right?
Right.
Say the Holy Bible. And as it turned out with seeing that movie, I said, wow, that's really interesting. We'll have to see what happens come 1999, because it just discussed about 1999, a king from the sky. There's going to be war or bombs or whatever. I knew somehow they would be a little bit off and wrong on time-wise.
Right.
Okay. And, of course, I started to just watch history. And I didn't pick up on a book. I didn't go out to the library or pick up books on Nostradamus after that. I figured, hey, if I'm going to read it, it'll come into my life when it's supposed to.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? That's how I felt with everything. Because, sure, I'd go to school, I'd get books to, study. I never really studied, never really wanted to pick up a book. And I just said, I could pass with what I know and what they want to teach me and how I have to answer the test. All right.
Right.
So I think I was a little bit more gifted than some of the other people in my class. So I never, it's just the way it happened. And then just eventually, I got pushed on clairvoyancy with some friends, giving information out on football games and whatnot. And finally, I wound up in an office in Florida where I now reside. And, I did certain things. I would say certain things to the manager of the office and to certain other people, and they would come true. So they started saying, you're psychic. And, the Homey name, I'll tell you, came from a young gentleman that back when I was living in South Jersey, he said, well, he just came running out of the house and said, we're going to call you Homey. Now, when I moved to Florida, I didn't carry that name with me. I figured, well, they just started calling me that too. They figured with my last name, it just rhymes. So
Right.
So I just accepted it that way. And of course, after a certain period of time, I asked the man upstairs what we want to call God or whatever. I said, well, if I'm going to use this name Homey, I might as well make it different. And he just said, well, slap the 3 on the end of it and it'll be fine. So we used the number 3 on the end of Homey at Homey 3.
Sure.
That number 3 is synonymous in prophecy as well as spirituality. And let's just take a few good pointers on the number 3. What planet are we from the sun? Or what rock? Right? We're the third planet 3. All right. Supposedly, what day did God give light to Earth or the planets? The 3rd day. And when you look at all a lot of prophets, especially with Jesus, the number 3 appears around him and the others as well. So I just said, well, okay, that's an understanding why we had to put the 3 on the end. So, and then from then on, something happened in 1995, and first of all, I had a heart attack in 93. And boy, did I see some things. I mean, I died a couple of other times in my life, and being able to see something on the other side is just amazing. And to be able to come back and say, and know it. Okay, I know other people have talked about it, but I had something more interesting to do, because I know when I came to, I knew I was sent down and said, finish a job that you were sent to do. So,
cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
and come 95, something happened with a friend of mine, and I just proceeded to chat with this the spirit that we all call God, and I said, well, if I'm going to have to make a trip and stuff like that, and what I've talked about, I said, asked him a ton of questions, so more like having a conversation rather than a prayer. But I asked for his presence, and I said, if I'm going to get your presence, everything that I'm asking, you must have an yes answer, and you will appear. But I'm saying, if I go on this trip, I hope you appear soon, or during the trip, or sometime thereafter. Well, when I got on that trip, he appeared. He basically appeared the next day that I arrived, and
Wow.
And how he did it was so miraculous, because I was not expecting it, and I was in a friend's house, and it was very dark. Very little light coming from a kitchen area where I was at. I was in the living room. I had my friend, he was sleeping already on another couch in the living room, and I was laying down, meditating, waiting for another friend to come by and pick me up. At that point, I heard something of a camera going off in the room. Cool. That nobody could operate it, because I know my friend had put it down on the TV earlier with the flash bar down. And without a flash bar up on a Polaroid camera, that ain't working.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Okay, let's do this, Homey. We got to go to a break. Let's go to a break, and when we come back, I'm going to have you finish that story and go into some more, because this stuff is fascinating. So you're listening. Right. Yeah, we'll come back with Homey. Don't go away. You're listening to The Broader View on the Hazy Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Animated movies and TV shows? Do you ever wonder just what goes into making the magic that appears on your screen? Join Doug Engler and Brandon Aarons every Sunday night for Animazing Radio. Animazing will feature everything in the animation arena, from voice actors and actresses to illustrators, producers, and more. Only on Animazing Radio will you find the very best in animation from around the world. Catch Animazing Radio every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on the Hazy Radio Network.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. It's so overwhelming.